right. Welcome back to the Love Solutions podcast. This is your girl, Sayani.
Welcome back, everybody. It's your girl, Darren. We are so blessed and so grateful to be here.
Yes. And the topic, wherever you may be listening, however you may be listening, the topic is solutions on the importance of mental stimulation. Now, Dee, do you want to explain why we chose this topic?
Yes, and I also want to just reiterate what Yanni just said about our platform and about the way that we move and the way that we navigate on Love Solutions. When we were talking about this topic, it specifically targeted how women are mentally stimulated, right? And it was all about women and how men are lacking and that women need mental stimulation. And I said to Yanni specifically, I said, let's make sure that we also talk about the men too, because there are men that I actually know personally that feel that way as well about themselves, that like, you could be a beautiful woman, you could have a physically attractive body, all those things, but in order to get me really going, I need to be stimulated. So it does go hand in hand with both men and women. So we just want to start with saying that. Now, both Yanni and I are women, so we can speak from our own personal experiences. We're not men. We do talk with men. Yanni does coach a lot of men as well. I have a lot of male friends, family members, you name it. But we do just want to like touch on that we are not only just talking about women and we're not only just talking about men. So I'm going to speak from personal experience on this topic, and it's so true for me that looks don't do it. It definitely is, and we're all human. I don't think that there's anything wrong with, and there's nothing shallow about saying that you ultimately get initially gravitated towards someone because you like how they physically look, right? Like that's
Right.
just, it is what it is. But in order for someone to stimulate me in particular, I need to feel some sort of emotional, mental, spiritual connection with you in order for me to actually be inclined to get to that level with you physically.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you there for sure. Um, I can speak from experience, something that created mental stimulation for me, that made me want to be intimate with my person now was his intelligence, the way he spoke, the way, his way of protecting me, his way of actually making me feel like, the most important person in the world, his consistency, his efforts, the personality that he had, his ambition. Yes, when I saw him, I was like, oh my God. Ooh, but most importantly, it was how he listened to me, the way he would listen to me and give me advice, his goals, the things that he wanted to achieve in his life, that actually, resonated with me. And his response to me, anytime that I expressed myself about something, really like turns me on. Like that was something that I was just like, wow, he not only is he with me and he's dating me and he's consistent and his efforts are there, but it's also how he pays attention to detail, how he gives me advice, how he considers me. And nowadays I feel like women are not paying attention to that anymore. It's becoming more about, the materialistic. Can you pay my bills? Can you, and it's like, well, what about everything else? Money should not be the only thing that makes you cum. You know what I mean? Like that shouldn't be the only thing. And while yes, stability is important, I do believe that stability is important for both parties. I don't think it should be the only thing that should stimulate a woman, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. Another reason why we brought this topic up is because there is this notion that men are, when we talk about cheating, right, or even just the intimacy in general, how men are more physically driven and women are more emotionally driven, and I
Yes,
do,
they are.
there is validity in that. There definitely is validity in that. I've had multiple men tell me that it's easier. Yeah, we have to spell it on the live, guys. There's certain things we can't say on the live. um it is easier for a man to like disconnect, and be able to just physically engage off of a physical attraction with a woman, where a woman may be physically into a man, and the personality traits and the way that he makes her feel and the emotional feelings that they're experiencing may completely turn them off. um Not to be mean, but stimulation comes from beauty for men and women, so when it's not there, yeah. So I mean, that's kind of what we're saying. What we're saying also, though, is in, like, we're both women that are appealing. We're women that definitely are pursued by men. So I can have, what we're saying is, I can have a man that is physically attractive, right, and has all the physical attributes that I might want in a man, but based on the way I feel emotionally and the way that he treats me emotionally, which goes back to what you were saying, is going to either give me the green light or the red light in,
Right.
in terms of the way I want to move. Now, I've had experiences. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm 32 years old now, and my experience with intimacy started in my teenage years. So I've had instances and experiences with men that were physically attractive, and that's literally all we had. All we had was that physical intimacy and connection, and that was it. And that's why I didn't go anywhere further, because we had no emotional connection. I wasn't being stimulated mentally. We weren't doing things like Sayani just mentioned, all of the consistency, all of the effort, all of the feelings of feeling so important to somebody, being treated with romance and respect. All of those things is what keeps a woman, and but also drives a woman to want to be intimate with you on a consistent basis. That's what we're saying.
Right. And talking about that, sis, so there are differences between men and women when it comes to the mental stimulation. So I actually pulled this from a expert psychiatrist online, and I loved everything that she wrote, because she actually is an expert in this area. And I asked her if it would be okay to share this on the live, and she gave me the green light. So so the differences, for example, for a man, orientation. So she did it by section. So I want to share this with everyone so that everyone can understand. It's not just women, men need this too. You men don't really notice it because they're more physical, like you mentioned, which is a fact. But there are also certain emotions that men get from a woman that makes them attractive and makes them, you know. So orientation for men is physical, compartmentalized, physical oneness, variety, and and the physical intimacy. It is a high priority for men.
Absolutely.
This is high priority. For women is more relational, is more holistic, is emotional oneness, security. Remember, we just spoke about that. Security for women, and other priorities may be higher than just the intimacy part of it. So for stimulation for men is sight, smell, and body.
Yeah. So
So she breaks it down here. She breaks it down. She really is breaking it down on here. For women is touch, attitudes, actions, and words.
facts.
Now, and it's
So
also person centered. So for men is body centered, so it's physical. For women is person centered, meaning we're attracted to the personality, we're attracted to the character, the characteristics, the personality traits. This is what we're attracted to. Now for needs, and then I'll go to the rest of them after, because I know you want to say some things. So for needs for a man to be stimulated is respect, which we spoke about, D, admiration, physically needed, and not to be put down. For women is understanding, love, emotionally needed, and time and consistency. The other two, I'll wait till you're done. Go ahead.
It's just like, first of all, this is being spoken about down to a science now, right? Because we're all human beings. We're all made up of different things and components and things that drive us. I always say all the time, I feel like oftentimes when I say something, I say we're human, right? It's like our excuse for our natural instincts and things that just naturally occur within us because we're human.
Right.
Some things are even animalistic, like our desires and our passions and what drives us and motivates us to want to get to that end goal, right? So it makes so much sense. And a lot of what you said about the men is very egocentric. A lot of it is about stroking an ego, about feeling like a
Yep.
man. And when I talk about animalistic is because it's often referred to as a predator and a prey, right? We're talking about chasing. We're talking about I want that and how am I going to get that? And then I'm going to get it. Right. So
Right.
it's different for a woman. And now there are some women that do think like that. There are some women that do feel like that. And that's where that overlap happens. And that's why I said to Yanni in the beginning of this live that we need to make sure that we're really focusing on that this doesn't only happen with just men. Right.
It
But
doesn't. Right.
shout out BLK Man of Peace. He said, emotional mental becomes even more important as you get older. And I
Yes.
purely was an example of that with what I said, how, when I was younger, I was totally fine with just having those physical encounters with people because I wasn't necessarily really trying to nurture my emotional needs at that point in my life, right? But because now I'm older and I know what I want and I prioritize that, it's now changed and evolved into something different. And he said, we men do get turned on by mental as well. So I just really appreciate you for being capable of speaking about vulnerability and being able to talk about your emotions as a man, because I think that that's also something that is attractive to me as a woman when
Right.
I can actually have a connection with somebody and we could talk about our feelings and it's not like removed completely from the connection.
Right. I'm so happy that you said that because um, I've been reading a lot of articles, and Mr. Heal Yourself is not on here tonight, but Dave, he focuses on that. He's going through a healing journey himself that he shares with the world on TikTok, and he teaches and he shares with men how to heal. And one of the things that he does talk about is how boys from a young age, they are not taught on how to show emotion. When they cry, instead of letting them cry, they tell them, suck it up. When they get angry is more of like, you need to deal with it completely different because this is not the way. And I read an article that is called about the quality man, and it was in quotation, the quality man. And it talks about how men are taught to be men instead of them actually becoming their own person. As for women, is very different. We're allowed to cry. We're allowed to show our emotions however we want. When it comes to our mothers or our fathers, the way they see it is, oh, we're just expressing ourselves. When in all reality, there should be some type of balance. And that's why with us it's a lot easier for women because we're more emotional. We show emotion and we build with emotion and we act on emotion. Is easier for us to show the emotion. As for men, it's more of a physical. Someone said on here, well, we're conquerors. As men, we're conquerors. And it's like, yes, that's perfectly fine, but it's also okay to go ahead and show that emotion towards somebody that is showing you that they love you, that they appreciate you, that they respect you. You don't always have to have it all together. Yes, men are kings, women are queens. We have our kings' backs as we should. Absolutely. But if someone is giving it to you, you should you should actually reciprocate that same energy. But a lot of men weren't taught that. So it's difficult. Now, as they get older and they go through different situations and circumstances with different types of women, they start to learn themselves in that way. So that's something which I feel like we should talk about on another live as well, and bring Dave on the live uh, to speak for the men, because this is just something that I read in this article, and I thought it was very important for us to share. Now, the response is something I want to share here. The intimacy response for a man is quick excitement. He's the one that usually initiates and is difficult to distract. So, meaning when he's really into whomever it is that he's really into, it's very hard for him to become distracted depending on what he's getting from the woman. So for him, for women is slow excitement. We are the responders usually, not the initiator, and we're easily distracted. Which I was like, no, we're not, but she makes a good point. For orgasm, this is very important. And I was just like, wow, this really blew my mind. Bad Gal said, why they ghost us? Girl, we gonna get back to that. We gonna get back to that.
Yeah, I need to respond to that. So finish reading what you were just reading.
Yes. So for yes, the big O, girl. So the big O for men is propagation of species. Shorter, more intense. So they're less intense than women actually when it comes to the
100%.
big O.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Physically oriented, and they need the big O usually for satisfaction. Okay, to know that they are actually being satisfied, they need this to happen. For women, propagation of oneness. I don't know if I'm saying propagation right. I think I am. Longer, more in depth. That's the big O for us. It's longer and more in depth. Emotionally oriented. Satisfaction often possible without the big O. And that's where I was like, but for a lot of women, it's different. It really
That,
depends.
that you could be emotionally satisfied. Like it doesn't necessarily have
Right.
physical satisfaction because you're not, achieving what you want to achieve, but you could feel the connection with this person that you have these strong feelings for emotionally, for sure.
Exactly. So this article is so important because it says here most men can be ready for physical intimacy in minutes. And once they are intimate, the release in the forefront of their mind, it becomes dominant in his focus. So that's why men are more dominant in the bedroom than women,
Because they're
depending.
their own pleasure, right?
Exactly. So, but she also mentions on here that they need the respect before anything else. And that's what's missing in today's dating world. It's so important to highlight this because a lot of women feel like they don't need to give that respect to a man anymore because of the equal rights, and also all of these different um how do I say this, what you're influenced by, right? I feel
Right.
like it happens as a child growing up. Whatever you're influenced by, you start to show, right? So throughout the last few years, I feel like that's what's been happening. We're listening to it in music. Women are more comfortable um uh with their I can't say the word because of TikTok, Lord. This is hard, but they're more comfortable with their being. They're more comfortable with who they are and how they express themselves in the bedroom or with a man. And they feel like it's much more powerful this way because, hey, I'm making money, I have my own going on, and I don't need no man. And it's like, okay, that's perfectly fine, but you also want the respect that you're also not giving. So that's what's missing here, where there's a level of respect that you should have for a man, the same way that a man has a respect for a woman, depending, again, I'm going to say this over and over again, depends, it really depends on it. She touches base on that in this article. It depends on the person. Depends how the person was raised, depends on their experiences, their circumstances, things that they've been through. And sometimes it's hard to communicate, which I feel that's a really big issue right now in the dating world, where it's like we can't communicate without offending each other. Everything is about you're wrong, I'm right, you're not all that, but I am. And it's a constant battle back and forth where this is yes, this is science, but it's also reality on how a man is what birth rate is dropping in. I don't know what you mean by that, T Gray, but if you could please clarify. Yes, it's this crazy cancel culture. I agree, it's the crazy cancel culture, but the way a man is built is very different from how a woman is built. And that's just the facts. You can't just go up to a man and say whatever you want. And the perfect example is, we were talking about this, D, on one of our podcasts. We were talking about how a man gives a woman a compliment, and sometimes a woman takes it as an offense. And the first thing she want to say is, "You can't talk to me because you broke." And this was a situation that you sent me this video, and I remember we spoke about it on one of our podcast lives, which was the guy was at a laundromat and this girl was at a laundromat, and he thought she was cute. And while he was taking out his laundry, she told the girl, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know, like, you're real cute and see if I could get to know you." And she goes, no, because you look like you're broke. And his response is what I loved, which was, "Well, if I'm so broke, then why are you in the laundromat with me?"
Exactly. And that just honestly just alludes to everything that I was just holding to just say, because it's everything is about reciprocation. So we're talking about like respect for men and respect for women. Like at the end of the day, we're all human beings, right? And the
Talk
world
about it.
world is a very big place. So whether you're a man or a woman, whatever the case is, everybody deserves that same acknowledgement of respect, as well as just honoring what it is exactly that you desire or that you want for yourself. Now, when we're talking about emotions and stuff like that, and men being conditioned to not express themselves emotionally, I truly think that that is a reflection of environment, childhood, all those things, but it's also a generational thing, because I'm actually
Yes.
in the field out there every day right now, shaping young men as well as young little women in the field of early childhood education. And
Yep.
I have parents that are in their 30s that are my generation parents, and a little older, a little younger, that make it a point to encourage their young men, little boys, to be emotional, to express themselves. This is something that is up and coming for men. And I feel like it really just depends on who you are as a person. Like, just because you come from a certain family dynamic or your parents were a certain way doesn't mean you have to carry that through your life and trickle it down. You have to stop the generational
Thank you. Can you please repeat that one more time, babe?
You have to stop the generational trauma. You have to stop the generational crap. Just because you come from a certain family and you are taught to be or act a certain way or to express yourself a certain way doesn't mean that it's the right way. Doesn't mean that it's the way for you. I'm going to tell you a story. I was talking to another one of my guy friends who also has a podcast, and he told me that as a kid, he will never forget this, that he remembers being around his friends that were boys, and them
Shout
saying,
outs to him.
shout outs to him, and and his boys telling his mom, their moms and dads, like, "I love you," like, and all these things. And he was like, my parents, like, we never said "I love you" in my house, and like I felt like I had to say it. Like, I love my parents, and we just never say it. So told me he went home that day and he looked at his mom and he was like, "I love you, mom," and she smacked him across the face. And she looked at him and she was like, "Do I feed you? Do you have a home? Like, everything I do for you, my actions show you that I love you. Like, we don't need to say it. So he was like conditioned to go based on the way somebody treats you and shows you through their actions, and not to verbally express that there's love present, right? So I looked at him like I had the same response that all these people have right now in this chat. Like, what? Like, so, and this was, and it's not something that he was carrying
Wow.
into his present dating life or anything like that. Like, he's actually an extremely like loving, empathetic person that I liked a lot of wonderful things about this person. And I was actually just shocked. And I was like, wow. And it was almost like I thought in my head, like his mom saw that when she was a kid, probably from her parents or her brothers, and it's just trickling down. So that's why I made it a point that we need to break that, because
Right.
someone else said on here too that men don't usually become emotionally mature until their 40s. And I have to say that right now I'm dating someone in their 40s, and I couldn't agree more. I've never really experienced the amount of emotional maturity that I do now, dating someone that he's 9 years older than me. And I feel like it does come with time, and it does come with experience, and it does come with age, to be able to understand your emotions and understand what it is that you want out of a physical connection. Because if you're looking for physical connections for just straight body to body, that's a whole different realm of what you're going to be.
Right.
If you're looking for an actual connection, commitment, relationship, partnership, something that's going to benefit you in all different facets of your life, it's not only going to be physical. And that's the thing. Someone said on here too that like, oh, women are demons because like they want to talk about your financials before they want to get anywhere else with you. That's not a woman that's looking for something that
Talk about it.
anything remotely emotional or mental or spiritually stimulating for her. She's looking for, what can you do for me? How can you please me? What bills can you pay for me? And right then and there, if that's not the type of move that you're trying to make as a man, that's not the woman for you, period. So you have to just understand that the world's a very, very big place, and you have to just surround yourself with people that are like-minded and people that know how to express themselves. Like, I can't talk to people, men specifically, if they do not know how to effectively communicate and or talk about their feelings and emotions or anything like that, because I'm so intellectual and I'm so capable in that area that we're just not going to work out. It's
Right.
not.
And that's something I just had this experience. I went live two 2 nights ago where I had clients, women that actually expressed to me and asked me, mind you, they paid for the sessions, 4 women together. And we actually figured out it was a whole setup. They booked back to back to back. And it was crazy because these 4 women, the things that I was explaining to them was exactly what you said. And these 4 women told me, but you're saying all of this and you're telling me all of this, but where's your ring at? They asked me, where's your ring at? And I was like, excuse me? And they were like, oh, so you just the pick me. That's what they said to me. These are women that paid for sessions with me under relationship consulting, relationship and marriage consulting. I had 5 women. Out of the 5, only 1 woman understood when I broke it down and I dissected her. She understood that she was the problem. She understood that and said, I've been looking for a relationship for all the wrong reasons. And I say all of this to say that not all women are the same. Not all women are the same. There are women that honestly just want exactly what you want, men. What some of you men are looking for, they are looking for that too. But we're not going to understand each other if all we're doing is judging one another every time we meet somebody. Every time we meet someone, every time we look at somebody, everything is about oh, they look this way. Oh, they did something. Like I use an example of doing something, meaning if the guy holds the bottle of water like this instead of holding it like this, and I mean it's really this petty, he's already being judged. It's already a no for him. So that's what I teach. Whereas like you want somebody to treat you with all this respect and love and consistency and the efforts and the time, and you want a man to see your value as a woman and your worth as a woman. But what exactly are you worth if all you're asking a man for is to pay your bills? what if this man has all of this money, but yet he has anger issues? There's something emotionally going on with him. He hasn't healed. All of these things will start to show. So my thing is, if we are able to sit down, and I'm not saying that you have to heal a man. No, I'm not saying that you have to heal a woman. I tell women all the time, don't look for a man to heal you. Don't look for a man to love you. Look for a man because you want a relationship. What is your why? Why do you want a relationship? Why do you want to get married? Why do you want a kid? You get what I'm saying? What is your why as to why you are dating? Do it with intention. If you're not intentional about anything in your life, you're not going to progress. You're not going to see success in anything. And that's just overall. And it's the same thing with relationships. It's the same thing with dating. You as a single person, you can't just be pointing the finger at your past and be like, oh, this is the reason why these things are happening to me. Fix it. You have to self-reflect. We talk about this all the time, D. You have to self-reflect. Everything when it comes to intimacy, there's so much more than just the money. There's so much more to it. So what are some of these solutions that, oh, before we get to the solutions, I want to talk about this because you mentioned something about um, it really depends on the environment that you grow up in and what you see. And that story is a great story because earlier today I was listening to the Breakfast Club. Shout outs to Charlemagne the God and DJ Envy because they were talking about how they cheated once upon a time, and there was intimacy involved in their cheating and why they did it. And Charlemagne the God mentioned that growing up, he did see like his father cheat. He saw his uncles cheat, and then DJ Envy mentioned that as we're growing up, which is true, I do agree with him to a certain extent, where in videos men are being shown to be players. Like it's cool to be a player, it's cool to be a pimp, it's cool to be this way, and that was the culture growing up. So it is based on influence. But does that mean, and I love that Charlemagne the God pointed this out, which was, does that mean though that we need to follow in those footsteps? Does that mean that we need to go ahead and act out the way others that we see on TV or videos or social media act out? Is that something that we need to do? And no, we do not. And I'm glad that you spoke about that because I can attest to this where I've seen things with my parents that I didn't agree with. Of course, they're going to tell me to mind my business, and I minded my business. Okay, I sure did. But did I want that for my life? No, I did not. I chose differently.
I'm so
So
I'm loving our fans right now because two people just dropped some gems.
go ahead, babe. I'm done.
King
Go ahead.
King Emperor Mello took the words out of my mouth about taking self accountability of self
Yes.
well, and it can be culture, but it also is internal issues. So everything you just said,
And insecurities.
correct, and everything that you just said is straight up facts. It's just the world is the world, and reality is different for every single individual person. So when you know what you want for yourself and what works for you is what you should pursue for your lifestyle. And I
Right.
say all the time is that's why dating works with some people and compatibilities happen with some people and not other people, why you connect so well with your person or you find your soulmate, because likely your drives are aligned with one another. You guys want the same things, like you mentioned your why, right? So like, why do you want to be in a relationship? Why do you want to have a kid, right? If you want to be surrounded by multiple women, if you want to play the field and play around and it doesn't bring you gratitude and happiness to be in a committed relationship where you know that that one person is down for you and you're down for that one person, then that lifestyle of being a player and being a pimp is for you, and that's okay, and you shouldn't be
Yep.
judged for that if that's what you want for yourself. But like you said, people are sitting here pointing the fingers and like looking at superficial things, and like it's okay to me
Yeah.
if you want to judge somebody, or not even necessarily judge, if you want to eliminate somebody from a potential partnership because they're waving a red flag in your face, they're bringing previous traumas to the surface, and you're finding that you're gonna maybe experience something again with someone, that's okay, but not the way you're holding up a water bottle. You know what I mean? Or not the way that, you chew your food, like if you have a pet peeve, so it's like it may be irking you a little bit, and okay, I'm gonna say it again, woman, right? But like when
Except the hygiene part. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
no, with the butt of teeth, okay?
I'm sorry. As an adult, you should have your hygiene all together. You should know if your breath stink, your feet stink, if you have some type of odor going on. Now, there are certain diseases that I will say, and skin diseases that some people can't control. So I'm going to put them apart, and I respect that. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the individuals that know that you're perfectly healthy, you're fine, and you choose not to do or pay attention to certain things when you should. That's all I have to say.
Yes. So definitely, and like that's the thing too. Like some people, are more conscious of things, can I tell you that sometimes when I talk about how attractive somebody is,
Right.
it's like I'll add on like, and they smell good. You know what I mean? Like something like that.
Yes.
That's a literal aphrodisiac for me. Like you be smelling good, like honey.
I'm tearing it up.
And I'm not asking you for anything that I'm not. I have hair perfume. I always be smelling like $100. I'm telling you, $100 million. Okay, so like
Right.
it's not like some people, like there's people who go cologne-less. There's people who go smell-less, and I look at them and I'm like, bruh, like I don't know how you, like I really don't, because I be smelling myself, like like I be in the gym.
Right.
People be like, yo, how you smell good in the gym? You know what I mean? So
Right.
can I just say that whenever we're on Love Solutions, how many different tangents we go on? Like I love
For
them.
real.
Like we're trying to come up with solutions about how important emotional and mental stimulation is. We over here talking about butter teeth and cologne and hygiene.
Right. Right. Because you know how I feel about it. That's what it is.
I
And
know.
I know how you feel about it. So,
No, but I think that you guys helped us a lot actually with solutions tonight,
yes.
and one big thing that stood out to me was being your own person and taking accountability. Like I could tell you guys right now things that probably would be present in my dating life or my emotional stability level if I were to be following in the footsteps of my family, my past, my childhood, even. Um, there probably would have been different habits and ways, but I really honestly made myself a priority and educated myself and created an emotionally intelligent woman because
Right.
I aspire to be better, and I aspire to actually bring happiness into my life because I'm the only person that can do that. And when you talk about your why, when you talk about the reasons why you want to be in a relationship, the person that you're going to be sitting side by side with or face to face with is going to have those same why reasons, and that's why you're going to be aligned with them. And when we're talking about bringing children into this world, like one of the main things and one of the main reasons that I want to have a child is because I want to shape a person to be a reflection of who I am and to repeat what I have done my whole life, which is love people, respect people, and pour all that I have into the world and give out positivity and happiness and love. So
That's right.
you have to find somebody that when you say that to them or when they say that to you, that it hits you in your heart and you're like, that's exactly what I want. Um,
Right.
and we all have to become a work in progress to make relationships work. And that is so, so valid. You really can't expect to pour from an empty cup. You can't expect to be able to fulfill not only yourself, but somebody else if you're not fully ready and you're not fully capable emotionally to be able to, number one, advocate for yourself. You should always advocate for yourself. And
Right.
it's okay if you have issues. It's okay if you're working through things. Like I'll tell you straight up, like someone said to me, what are your flaws? Sometimes I'm quick to give up. I'm quick to give up because I'm so used to things not working in my favor that I'm just like, all right, well, another one. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like
my God, you sound just like me.
it's true. It's true because, and it's based
Oof.
on my prior experiences because
Yeah.
I'm not perfect, right? But I'm
Right.
aware enough and I'm attuned enough to myself, my mind, my heart, the way that I move. I pay attention to my own responses and habits and what makes me edgy and what makes me feel great. And because I'm able to do that and I take the time to learn myself, I'm able to actually communicate that with other people effectively so that they can understand me as well. And it's very, very important to be able to do that with other people.
And I also want to mention something, a solution that I want to share with everyone on here is if you if it's hard for you to express yourself in an intimate way, whether you're a man or a woman, based on some past based on some past experiences,
Bless you.
uh, huh?
I said, bless you.
Oh, thank you. No, because I heard something, so I was like,
Oh, I thought somebody's.
no, thank you, sis. Bless you too, baby. Bless you too. But but yes. So a solution that I do want to share with everyone is that if you and another one.
She said, be like Jake Khaled and another one. That's why I said it that way, sis. I said another one because, you know.
Yeah, I can't. Okay, that was funny. Bad gal Jody, you are hilarious, girl. That was funny. But and another one. Okay, focus.
That you
All
had
right.
that, like, who in my house? Because you look,
Right. I'm like, so if you are having issues expressing yourself intimately with a man or woman based on, okay, the differences that we have, what drives both parties, have a conversation about it, because sometimes there are some things that happen within us, like there are some traumas from our childhood that if you haven't been to therapy, if you haven't seen a specialist, it does start to come out in your relationship and in your dating life as well as in your marriage sometimes. And I highly suggest to take your time and have that conversation with your significant other and let them know, hey, I'm not at this level of intimacy just yet because this happened to me. And I just want to be, I just want to be, I want you to be aware, but I also want to be transparent as to why I'm not able to initiate intimacy or express myself so freely. And that person, whoever it is, will understand that. But you also cannot expect somebody to be a mind reader. You
that's
have to be.
major key. And this is what literally, I don't know if you saw the comments, but Nelly P903 said a closed mouth doesn't get fed. And that's so
Yes,
huge because, and I'm going to say this, I agree with it, but it has to be respectfully. You know, you have to
absolutely.
come from a place of love and say, like, listen, I'm telling you this because this is how I move, this is how I work, this is how I'm feeling. You could take it however you want it to, but this is how I feel and this is what works for me because you need to be an advocate
Right.
for yourself.
Yes, and this is what I've helped a lot of people with. Like that there are some things, some traumas from their childhood. Like one of the things that I'm starting to realize is like molestation. Sorry, like they've been molested before. So, and I'm sorry, trigger warning, but that is something that they explained to me, and I actually guide them and I explain to them, okay, this is something you have to really see a specialist for and explain to your partner what happened. Don't feel ashamed. Don't feel embarrassed because it's not something that you asked for it to happen to you. And it's hard to express, but once you say it to your partner or to that person that you're getting to know, it's okay if you're 2 months 3 months in and they're trying to get intimate with you and you're like, oh no, I can't. And they're like, but why? And you just keep saying, I just can't right now. I just can't right now. You have to find a way. And that's something that I help people with. I help couples actually get to that place where they're able to feel safe to express to their significant other, hey, or the person that they're dating, hey, this happened to me. I'm in their presence so that they feel comfortable, they feel safe. And that's why, to me, it's so important that you build a safe environment, a safe foundation in your relationship while you're dating, getting to know somebody. That to me is number one. Because if I feel safe with you, if I feel safe every time and I'm able to express myself to you and let you know, hey, this is how I'm feeling and you're not judging me for it, I'm going to be like, okay, I can speak to this person about every and anything. And I'm able to trust them and be vulnerable. So I just wanted to say that. And of course, anyone that listens to this, if this is something that they need help with, I'm here to help them. I'm here to help you. This is what Love Solutions is all about. Um, Is there any solutions you would like to share, Dee?
I think just going back to the topic, so you guys have a reminder about, what the main focus of this live was and this podcast is to understand the emphasis on emotional, mental, and other connections, and how much it will truly enhance your physical connection with somebody. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever felt this way or have heard this before, but like they say that intimacy is so much better with somebody that you actually have feelings for, that you're actually like,
That
a-
you're in love with, you're in tune
yeah,
with.
even just someone that like you feel like it's not just physical and then like you have nothing to talk about or you can't like share anything or connect in any other way. So that, outcome in itself should just be super telling that when you're looking for something substantial, depending on what you are looking for in your life, that taking your time to actually connect with someone on other levels. And if you're already in a relationship or you're already in a commitment in a marriage, it's never too late to learn the newer version of the person that you're with, to continue to stimulate one another mentally, emotionally, ask questions, talk about stories, make each other laugh, go back to the places that you've been before, first date, stuff like that. Keep the excitement alive within your relationship, because that will emotionally stimulate you, and that will then bring more fun and excitement to the bedroom. So that's some solutions that we have for you beautiful people.
Yes. Oh,
Oh,
okay. Oh, and see, I told girl, you getting better and better every time. Every time.
yeah,
That
we're
was,
just getting here now. We're at the end.
yeah, porn DMC, you are late, bruh. But it's okay. It's all right. He's always showing us so much love. He's always liking our he's I think he listens to our podcast as well and has subscribed. So we'll let you off the hook. Okay. But what are your thoughts on matchmakers? Do you recommend them?
Gee.
Wooch. Don't say that, sis, because let me tell you something. I was going to become a matchmaker before we go. It was a part of one of my services, and then I had a consultation with like three women, and these three women were asking for the most wildest things that I was like, you know what? Um, find another matchmaker because I'm not the one for you, honey. What you're looking
That
for
goes
is
with what we're saying. That literally goes with what we're saying. Like if you're going to a salon and you want a sort of wig or you want something done and they don't provide that, you're not going to get it. You're going to a certain man and you're asking for certain things and they don't provide that, you're not going to get it. If you're going to a woman and you want to, vice versa, I can just keep going on and on. You got to find what works for you, and you have to find the things and the resources and the stuff that you have in your life that is going
right,
to give you the outcome that you are searching for. Sayani is not going to help you find somebody if you're like, he got to make this amount of money, he got to be this tall, he got to wear this cologne, drive this kind of car. Like, honey, she's not out here at FBI trying to like go through database records and find this individual. She's not like, no. This isn't working out. This is an unrealistic request, okay? So, no.
right, exactly, sis. Well, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's Love Solutions podcast. This is your girl Sayani.
This is your girl, Daria Marie. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys. Someone said, love you girls. I see what you guys are trying to do, and I hope the most of it works. Someone said, we are a
Thank
dynamic
you.
force that is blessed by God to do his work. And thank you guys so much. Bless you all. Thank you
Yes.
guys for open, for sharing with us, for opening your hearts and your minds, and also just, helping us with our own work that we're doing to help other people, because we wouldn't be here without you, and it's really, really appreciated. So thank you and bless you all.
Yes, Black Man of Peace said we need healthy relationships, and that is what we're here to do. That is what Love Solutions Consulting LLC is all about. That's what I do. So if that is something that you're interested in, you need it in your life, or you know somebody that needs it, I am here. Book your sessions, book your free consultation, and I got you. I promise you, there are people on this live right now that have experienced Love Solutions Consulting, and you could go read the reviews. Go read the reviews.
Read them.
I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And this is what Love Solutions podcast is about. This is what me and Dee, this is what we dedicate our lives to, is to build and help keep, okay, relationships together, marriages, the dating life. You're single, we promote self-love, self-care, growth, all of it. That's what we're here to do. So make sure you follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Anchor.fm. We drop every Thursday at 12 p.m. And we're also on YouTube, Love Solutions Podcast. Is there anything else you'd like to say, babe?
Follow us on TikTok if you already do not, and follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram links are in both of our TikTok bios, so you can follow our journeys, watch our stories, engage with us in any other platforms that you would love. And we are so grateful for all of your support. Peace and love, y'all.
Peace and love, y'all.